Our next guest has won 3 NCAA basketball championships and 12 National Coach of the Year awards. Calling him successful is an understatement of major proportions. Now he shares his key words for success in his 4th book. It's called Beyond Basketball, and we welcome to Cold Pizza Coach Mike Krzyzewski. Coach, very nice to see you. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you very much.
Let's start by talking about USA Basketball.
Sure.
I know that that was a very fun time for you, coming together with a group of players that, for the most part, you hadn't used before, hadn't seen much of before. What did you learn from the loss to Greece in the World Basketball Championship?
Well, it's not just from the loss to Greece. It's just competing. It's a different game, and we don't have a culture for U.S. basketball for the international game. We have a culture in the NBA, a culture in the NCAA. But we've never built a culture for international basketball, and that's what we're trying to do during this 3-year period. And so we're all coming together, learning about something new. What I found is that the talent level around the world is terrific, and the coaching. You know, we have great respect for the international game. 20% of the NBA players now are international, and they're older teams. They've played together, they have continuity, and what we're hoping to do with this group is provide that continuity and provide a base not only to hopefully win the Olympics in 2008, but to serve as a model of how we should do it going forward. And so there's a lot going on. It's a lot of work to do.
What was the biggest difference for you between coaching college kids and coaching the professional players?
Well, the professional players were great. All these guys were terrific. They actually learn things quicker. The thing that's different is that they come from their different teams, whereas with my own team, we kind of know each other more. There's a foundation there, but they were very willing. They worked hard. We're pretty young. We had 5 kids, 21 and under, and I think there are 8 kids. I call them kids, even though I'm getting to be an older guy. But the cooperation was terrific. I thought we got a lot better. We weren't good enough to beat Greece that day. We didn't play as well, but Greece had a lot to do with it, and they played a great game. And when something like that happens, you congratulate them, try to learn from it. They've responded well against Argentina, and hopefully that'll help us in winning the Olympics.
Speaking of being young, your Duke team is a different kind of young. You've always had that senior leadership for everyone to sort of lean back on. You've named a junior and 2 sophomores as captains. How does that change your style of coaching?
Well, it's exciting for me. We have no seniors and only 1 junior. That's how 2 sophomores got to be captains, along with DeMarcus Nelson, our junior. And for me, it shows that we've had quite a few guys go to the pros early when you don't have a senior class. And so that's the nature of college basketball right now. I look at it as real exciting because I really like my guys. And it's a new team. No one has established himself yet as that go-to guy, the terrific player. DeMarcus has been hurt for 2 years. Josh and Greg had their moments last year, and to see them, go for that role, and to see the other freshmen and sophomores getting better, it's going to be exciting. I hope it's going to be maybe a peak and valley type of year, and hopefully we're not in the valley too often.
Like the New York Yankees here, the expectation for Duke is to compete for that championship every year. Much has been said and written about how the Yankees were affected by all of that pressure. How are your players affected by that expectation to win every year?
Well, there's no question that it has an impact on you, but it has a positive and a negative impact. The positive impact is that your expectation level is high, so your standards are high, and you have a greater chance, I think, of making it every year if that's a goal of yours. The fact that we share that goal publicly means that there's the pressure that if you don't do it, then someone's going to say, well, I thought you were going to win that. I'd rather have that than not have it, than have our guys have high expectations and deal internally with the so-called, hey, you're supposed to do this and you're supposed to do that. Hey, just play hard, play well together, and we'll see what happens. But I like the fact that we're in that area.
You're a mentor not just to your basketball players, but to all the athletes at Duke. And shortly after the Duke lacrosse scandal hit, you addressed the athletes. What did you say to them?
Well, one, I think every institution, family, team, you have your problems. Last spring, and there's a situation there that still needs to be done in the courts.
Sure.
Okay, but it shouldn't have a negative impact on our entire school and the student body. So what we tried to do is have a night where instead of forming a code of conduct and stuff like that, we have good principles, we have good values, we have good beliefs. We had a night where we said, let's look at our beliefs. And we had former Duke athletes come in who run companies and whatever, and they came in and talked very briefly. It only took a half hour. And at the end of talking, they would say, I'm so-and-so, da-da-da-da, and I believe in diversity, I believe in integrity. And at the end, and I am a Duke student athlete. In other words, to be proud of being a Duke student athlete. And I thought it was a great night. It was the first time in my 27 years at Duke that I saw all the athletes together, 600 of them and all the coaches. Yeah, I'm not sure people do that.
Right.
And just to get everyone saying, hey, we're proud of you, we believe in you, thanks for representing us. And we did that night, and the feedback we got from the student athletes was tremendous. So we're going to do it every year now, something like that every year.
Your book is about leadership. Tell us about it.
Well, it's a book that I feel very good about because my youngest daughter and I did it together, Jamie Spatola, and while her husband was in Iraq. Chris is a West Pointer like me. He's a captain in the Green Zone in Baghdad, got back in August, and it's really a book of words. I'm a true believer in the power of words, and we write 40 essays, 40 words, and what we do is we define it, a word, like courage, integrity, failure. What did you do with failure? And you take words and then you tell a story about the word. And you want the reader not just to look in a dictionary and look for the spelling or using the word. You want the reader to understand the word and really, hopefully, write their own story. And when you own words, you build character. And I love doing the book with Jamie. She made me look very good in the book. And we share a lot of stories that we haven't shared before because by being my daughter, she was able to get, fathers know that daughters can get more out of them than anybody on earth.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So,
what was one story that you shared in the book that you hadn't prior shared with
there are a number of them, but one of them was just when I first started, it's about love, the word love. And my wife and I was a graduate assistant for Coach Knight at Indiana. It was after serving our country for 5 years. I got out of service, and I was in graduate school, and then on weekends, I'm on the road all the time. Finally, one night, we hadn't seen each other for so long. My wife said, well, what are we doing? We have a little baby. Our daughter Debbie was there. What are we doing? We were never together. I thought we were supposed to be married, and I'm there, guys, I know a lot of guys can identify with this, so I'm going like this, and I just said, it must be love. And all of a sudden, she starts smiling, and she says, you're right. It must be love. And I don't know how I got out of it that night, but and it was, because the only way to get through some of those things, you can't really understand it. And so what it is, a love and commitment. And so I love the book because I've thought of writing a book like that, but I'm not a very good English person. So having Jamie, who's great, helped out a lot. And she and I even grew closer together during the whole experience. And the book's dedicated to her husband, my son-in-law, Chris, because while he was in Baghdad, we did it, and to thank him for giving us the motivation to do the book.
Clearly a different side of Coach K. Yeah. Speaking of Coach K, it's become your moniker, but it's very difficult to spell.
Not for a Polish person now.
Not for a Polish person, or as you said in the commercial break, what's so hard about spelling Mike?
Mike, I mean.
M-I-K-E.
That's it.
We have asked some of your current and former players how to spell your name, and we enjoyed watching them struggle with it. We want you to look at this
contingent on this.
Okay, take a look at this, Coach.
C. I mean,
the only way we put it is Coach K.
K-R-Z-Y-Z-W-S-K-I.
I don't think anybody knows how to spell his name. That's why they call him Coach K.
K-R.
Yep.
Y-C-H. Am I right so far?
No.
Well, he started with a C.
Well, I think it's why Corey left early after 1 year. He thought it would put a mental block, and but that was funny, especially seeing John Shire doing that.
Well, we're not going to ask you. Of course, you know how to spell it. But what we are going to ask you to do is to spell Duke's women's basketball coach's name, Gail Gestencourt's.
Coach G. I'm not an idiot. You're not going to get me there.
Oh, we're not going to let you off that easy because guys tried to answer our question by K.
I love Gail, and I would never call her by her last name. And with due respect, Coach G and Coach K do all right at Duke.
Okay, well, for those of you wondering, it's GoestenKors.
You got it right.
Yeah.
You got it right.
All right. We want to show you a shot of Chris. This is Chris in studio, and this is
and Jamie.
And there's Jamie.
She looks like her mother.
So, well, you know what? I see a little of Coach K there.
Hopefully very little.
But obviously, Mom softened the look. and we're very pleased to have both of you in studio as well. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I had
Best
a lot
of
fun.
luck to you with your young team.
Thank you.
I'm not sure expectations will be kicked down a notch.
That's all right.
But we'll take that into consideration.
Thank you very much.
And good luck with the book.
Right.
Beyond Basketball, Coach K's Keywords for Success is available, and it's in stores now.